Hello and welcome to the BracketLife brand YouTube channel. Back again for another week. Glad to have you here. This week we have more of an information video coming up. So we have Ashley Thompson from ThisIsBracketRacing.com to talk about the second year of the TIBR Driver Series. So, first of all, hello Ashley. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So before we kind of get into the driver series, let's talk about how first you got involved with This Is Bracket Racing and working for Luke.
Yeah, so I've been racing since I was like 13. I got involved in the sport, raced juniors, and then kind of worked my way up. So I've been involved in the sport for a while. I actually worked for NHRA Division 6 office for a little bit.
That's
So I
cool.
kind of had a little bit of like admin background in that. Um, and then I'm not really sure like what happened in between or after that, but my stepdad was a part of This Is Bracket Racing Elite. And Luke had asked the group, he was looking for someone to help with like admin stuff. Um, just a bunch of like little things to ease up on his workload, I guess. So, knowing my background, my stepdad passed that information along to me, thinking I'd be interested. I'm in nursing school right now, so having like a little part-time job doing that, was ideal for me in my schedule. So I applied. Or I guess I emailed Luke saying I was interested, and he kind of like gave me a little like some tasks to do, I guess, to like test me. And I guess he was happy with it because he hired me. So yeah, it's been great working with Luke. He challenges me every day, and he is almost like a mentor to me as well as a boss. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started with BracketRacing.com.
There you go. So it's funny as I was putting this together, we kind of talked a little before, and I was thought about it, and then until you actually said it, I remember because I saw the post that Luke had made, and I had done the tasks and whatever, and applied for the position as well. But apparently, you were better than I am. There we go. We got that connection, at least that we applied together. But so that's cool. It's exciting, right? Works out to get a part-time job in the drag racing industry while you're still at school. So, it's hard to really beat that. And working for one of the best guys to work for in this industry too.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember meeting Luke at Pomona in 2014 when my friend Nick was racing there. And my stepdad's like, hey, like Luke Bogaki's over there. Like, do you want to meet him? And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. And then fast forward, like 4 or 5 years, I guess now I'm working for him. So yeah.
That's cool. No, I had, once again, similar story. I wasn't at Pomona because that's, a bit of a haul for me. But when I met him at the Million, I was with, my father-in-law, and he's like, oh yeah, see, there's Luke. Like, why don't you go say hi to him or something like that? And like, same thing, right? It's the big deal thing. And now we talk, every other week or something like that. So it's cool how it all comes around, like I say, for sure. I get it. So from working for Luke, you've always obviously had some good ideas and stuff, which came about the TIBR driver series. So let's talk about that, about how that idea came together and how you came up with it and what the goal was for the series.
Yeah. So as I said earlier, Luke has kind of challenged me to, get outside my comfort zone and try new things. And he challenged me to kind of, I guess, come up with something last year in the midst of the pandemic. So we have this similar series in D6. And I kind of wanted to expand on that, but with a couple other goals in mind. Um, so I pitched the idea to Luke and he loved it. Um, and yeah, so then the driver series was born.
No, absolutely. I said earlier, I remember when he had posted about it in the group, talked about it, had you on to, share about it. And the first thing I thought was how cool it would be to have it up here, firstly, because I just want to participate in it, right? And I just want to race in it. And then second, I could see the benefits of having that at a racetrack, to compete on a national scale without leaving home. So
Yeah.
there's going to be huge benefits for that, I think. And, we'll knock them off as we keep going through here. So like we talked about, we help the grassroots, or it will help the grassroots tracks, get more recognition on a national scale and have racers be able to compete with people that they never would be able to any other time, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're hauling, 20 hours south from up north here, where we are, you're not going to race with these guys, but you can still
Right.
compete with them through the driver series. So that's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of my whole goal. I up in Washington, we don't have like these big money races compared to back east. I think like the most like that we race for around here is $7,500, and that's for like Top Bulb and Boise once a year. So my whole goal, I guess, for this was for racers like myself, who I don't compete in the Lucas Oil series. I don't haul to like these huge races back east or anything. But I wanted to give the grassroots racers who don't necessarily have maybe the financial means or the time to travel a chance to race at a national level. For like a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so that was my goal, purely for the racers, and then also for the tracks on the flip side, building that, I guess, loyalty and adding incentives for the racers to come to the track. So yeah.
For sure. That was kind of how I sold Arnie Malcolm on it for Ad Lustville was, the added incentives that this is going to give to have more racers participate. It's a great program all around. There's no downside to it, right? So now we'll go into more of the details of the actual series. So on the flyer sheet, whatever you want to call it, picture, there's only 16 tracks listed. Now, as you've informed me, there's over 23 tracks that are participating in this series in the upcoming season. So, and that's still growing, right? There's still room for tracks to get on the list and keep expanding that. And now we not only have one track in Canada participating, but now there's two. So Lustville Dragway, which is where I will be competing and participating in the series, as well as a little bit west of us, Grand Bend Motorplex, as well will now be participating, which is very exciting. So that's really cool to have more tracks up here in Canada represented.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. We launched last Wednesday, and then Thursday overnight, Facebook kind of blew up and people were tagging their tracks. And then I had tracks calling me. So it was really cool and definitely like reaffirmed everything for me. So yeah, we did grow the lists to we're at like 23 right now. And I think I'm going to cap it at 25 just because again, I'm a full-time student, and it's just, I guess, not feasible for me to um,
It's a lot of
be
run.
able to. Yeah, it's a lot of admin work and putting in the scores and all that. So I'm gonna cap it at 25, and then hopefully next year, we actually already have a list right now of um, tracks to include next year. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Trying to keep it very diverse across the country.
Yeah.
So, because I want to, I want it to truly be national. So I want to include, as much as West Coast as I can. We were very D3 heavy last year, just because those were the connections Luke had, and I actually had a connection at National Trail. So that's kind of where we started. And then Bremerton up here was very receptive of the idea. So yeah.
That's awesome though. Like I said, it's very exciting. And I'm sure for you coming up with the idea and then doing all the work to get it to this point, to have these tracks overflowing to get involved in it, right? That's gotta be pretty cool. I can
Yeah,
only
super exciting.
um so we talked about it, we'll get more deep into the series now to make sure everybody actually knows what exactly it is. We keep talking about the national, points series and then, being on a national level. So you pointed out similar to the Lucas Oil series that the NHRA does for the sportsman racers, but obviously at your home track. And this is, it's not just, to say I'm the big deal here. Like this is 10 grand to win for box and no box, or where we are, super pro, semi pro, doesn't matter. Top bulb, bottom bulb, either way, 10 grand to win each class. And then if you are part of this Bracket Racing Elite, which I fortunately am, you win, you get an extra $2,500 on top of that. And all this stuff, like this is all of it, it's $50 once to join the series, right? You don't have to add any more expense to your racing program this year. It's $50. You don't have to drive to any other tracks than what you were already going to. So,
Yep.
So it's awesome, right? This is very exciting. And, so as long as everybody understands that was what we wanted the goal of this interview, right, was to make sure everybody knew what's happening, what the series is. And then, it is only $50 one time. I've had a couple of guys ask me that if it's, every event or something like that, or if you have to pay more to the track. No, simple, easy. We'll get it all handled. You enter the series online, and then tracks send all the results to you, correct? Yep. And then you go over it, add the points up, and then it's all posted and good to go.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, $50 one-time payment to ThisIsBracketRacing.com. Like you said, how the points work is going to be 10 points per round win. And then a bonus 3 points if you win the event, 2 points if you runner up, and then 1 point if you have a semi-finish. So pretty straightforward in that regard. And then if your track does allow buybacks, which some do, I wasn't really aware of that last year just because like on the West Coast, our summit races, we don't have buybacks. So we are not granting points after buybacks. And that's to keep it fair across the board for tracks that don't offer buybacks. So those racers aren't at a disadvantage. And I talked, this was like a very heavily talked about rule, just because there are so many different, rules among the different tracks, some award half points after, some, full points, tracks just offer, their rules are different. So I, talked to some racers, I talked to a lot of track owners, track managers, and ultimately this was, the decision that was made. So don't come after me.
That's right. But as you say, right, it is only fair to make it that there are no points, right? Because if any track has it that you straight up can't get back in with, and they don't have buybacks, then pretty much your hands are tied, right? So I think it's a fair rule. Now we'll go into kind of for double entries. As it says, you can double enter the same car and driver in box and no box. And then how it would work if you wanted to double enter the same car in the same class. Are you able to do that?
So if your track allows you to have 2 entries in one class, so you're running your same car or different car in Super Pro, the first time you stage that round is what's going to be counted. So if your first entry, wins, you get those points. If your first time you stage that round, you don't win, then you don't get any points, and that's where your points stop. But you can race the same car in Pro and Super Pro if your track allows. I think most do, so that shouldn't be a problem. But yeah.
Cool. So it's simple, easy, just like that. And then so you would only be able to join, like say, the top all points once, right? If you had two
Correct.
different cars, you could not enter the top all points twice.
Correct. Yep.
It was just simple, make it easy for everybody. As we did talk about, you already have a busy schedule, and then adding all this stuff on top and then sorting through, well, was this the first entry or the second one or whatever, I can only imagine it would get carried away. So now, where else would they, or where would they look to contact you, or where should they go if anybody has any more questions, or if a track wants to be involved or anything like that? What's the best way to get in contact to sort that out?
Yeah, so the best way to contact me is my email, which is ashley@ThisIsBracketRacing.com. I check that every day, multiple times a day. So, yeah.
So perfect, simple. That's all good. We're going to post this sheet here that we have with all the rules and everything going on with it. I'll post your contact information as well as where to sign up for the series. So then everybody's got it all one spot. I think that's all good. It's pretty, straightforward from this point. I don't think I don't have any more questions about it. I guess the last one that I might have is, what would be, something I ask everybody, what would be some advice you would give a racer that's, thinking about joining the series, but isn't sure if it's right for them, or, somebody trying to get into it or trying to be more competitive? What would be a piece of advice you would offer them?
I mean, I guess I would just say, do it. I mean, it's $50. It's one time $50. I mean, you can't really go wrong with that.
Yeah.
And it's a fun series. I mean, I think we have in the works, with other manufacturers trying to get more prizes. So hopefully it won't just be $10,000 to the winners.
Yeah.
There will be some trickle down prizes, for some of the other racers. So I think there's more exciting things to come. And then also this year we're going to be sending out participant stickers.
Cool.
So you're going to be able to see at your track who's in the driver series. So I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, we had that request last year and I was like, oh, that's a great idea.
I didn't think of it until obviously once you just said it, but that is an excellent idea. I'm excited to have those stickers on my cars.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. We're pretty much covered everything. I guess the only thing you kind of brought it up, and which ticked something off in my head for me. So it is, the prize are just straight 10,000 to the winner. There's not, at this point in time, there's not anything for second, third, fourth, fifth.
Yes, correct.
But still lots of options for that, for people to be involved, and then get some prizes for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Ashley. I really appreciate you taking the time out to sit and talk to me about this. I'm very excited. If you guys couldn't tell, excited to be a part of it, excited to get racing, just get back to the track, get out of the snow. But yeah, like I said, thanks a lot for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was great talking with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashley.